Good morning. Hi, this is Deborah, and this is Defining Deborah. It is Sunday, November 1st. Woohoo! We have exactly 61 days before 2022. Can you believe that? And most people would say they are so happy that 2020, I'm sorry, oh my gosh, I have I have taken out a whole year. 2021. Oh man, forgive me. I wonder if 2021 is going to zoom by so quick that I'm going to feel like I'm in 2022. Anyway, 61 days till 2020 is over with, and we pray now that 2021 will be the total opposite of 2020, being that everything that could go wrong seemed like it's gone wrong in 2020, and everything that can go right will be like that in 2021. Let me say, my blouse dress here is blinding. Y'all can tell by the videos that I am a very colorful person, and so this is a golden, you can wear it as a dress or a top. Since I'm going to work, I'm wearing it as a top with some leggings, and it is just kind of blinding here in the daylight. Alrighty, so here we go. Today is Sunday, and let me say this. One of the things that I want to do, and my whole purpose of even starting vlogging, was to put some perspective on life itself from my viewpoint and my journey and the stage I am in my life of being 58. And so it's important to me, laugh, joke, and all that, but to also have some meaningful conversation on this page. So I've been trying to figure out what I'm going to do, and this morning I was just like, just do it. Just quit thinking so much about it. Just go with it. And so today is Sunday, and I'm calling it Season Sunday. Seasons Sunday. And you may say, well, why is she calling it that? Well, today I want to talk about seasons, meaning if you take it in the natural sense, most places have 4 seasons: winter, spring, summer, and fall. And if you look at poetry and quotes and things like that, you have where a lot of authors have talked about the season of your life, and I just said the season where I'm at right now. But daily in our walk in life, our journey, our path, we have seasons. And I just felt today that there are people who are in a season that is not prospering, is not feeling well. They may be sad, they may be depressed, frustrated, angry, unhappy, all those feelings that we don't like to deal with, but they do happen. And I wanted to come and I just wanted to talk about the fact that if you think about your life, if you just sit down for 15 minutes and think back over your past life, that you have been in seasons that you thought were horrible. And I've done that, because when I'm in the season, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm just not gonna, you feel like you're not gonna make it, you feel like you're not going to be able to get out of it. That's what I'm trying to say, if I can get it out. And that it's like the most horrible place you could be, until you get to the next season that's more horrible than the last season. And it's the same with good things. You can be in a season where you're like, this is, oh my gosh, I am so in love. This is the most love I've ever felt. This is the best job I ever had. My children are just awesome. Until you get to another season where you feel more love, you're making more money, and your children are more awesome. But I didn't want to talk about just the negative. I also want to talk about the positive. So that's why I threw that in there. But I want people to know that you don't stay in that season forever. Things do change. But part of the problem is we get stuck. It's sort of like a storm. You may say, oh my gosh, just like this year, we've had so many hurricanes and tornadoes. Louisiana, they're just like, can we afford another one? But even when a hurricane comes, it only stays for a certain amount of time. It doesn't stay for 3 months or 6 months. But some of our seasons can. And I think that's because we're in a process of learning. Sometimes we look at our seasons and think about how harmful they are from us. But if you look at it, a lot of them helped us to grow. It taught us something. We learned something from it. So I had what I was calling my 3 S's. And this is how people feel a lot of times when they're in a place that's very uncomfortable. They're ashamed, they're scared, and they're in this season. So my 3 S's is shame, scared, and season. I just talked about the season because I want you to know that it won't stay like this forever. Even though it may feel like it, it won't. Things will change. You're scared during that time because like now, there are people who are out of work. There are people who hours have been cut back, or you're getting unemployment and it doesn't even pay the bills. You know, you're looking at your children, and some of you were probably like, I am so happy that school is not full time because I didn't have the money to buy the school supplies or to buy clothes for my kids to wear this school term. Some of you right now are pressing yourself about the fact that Christmas is coming up and what am I going to do? And you'll go out and get in more debt, or add more bills to your plate because you just don't want your children not to have a Christmas. Some are worried about even just putting food on the table, or definitely being able to pay the rent, to keep a roof over your head. And now we're going into winter and you're thinking about the heating bill, the electric bill, the water bill. All these things can put you in a place of fear and make you scared to death. Those are normal emotions. But the one thing about being scared and fearful, it doesn't allow you to be able to think clearly and be able to help come up with a solution. In the midst of being in this season and feeling scared, you now feel shame. You may feel shame that I'm getting evicted. You feel shame that you had to ask your parents could they let you borrow some money, or a friend, or the fact that, you didn't have food in your house and you feel shame that you got to go to the food bank. All those emotions mixed up into one can make this season horrific. But I want you to know that there is something on the other side of all that. Because most people want to feel safe, secure, and their self-esteem is what makes them feel shame. What do I mean about that? After you've had all these feelings that you're mad about the season you're in because of 2020 and everything that's happened, and you might have gotten COVID, or someone else in the family has gotten COVID, and you may be grieving because you lost somebody that had COVID, or the whole job situation and the children, and all those things that you're feeling, those are all feelings that we all have to process. But if you can sit down, take a few deep breaths, and think about, what can I do at this time? Because sometimes there are a solution or something you can do for a reprieve, and then sometimes there's nothing you can do but wait it out. But if we can sit down, have a moment or two of clarity, and we can say, okay, and I like to do this with myself, because I can get my anxiety going and getting all upset and looking at the problem versus any type of solution. And this is just the worst of the worst of the worst. But once I go through my whole little rant and I sit down, take some deep breaths, maybe drink some water, and I say, okay, what is the worst scenario in this? The worst scenario may be we get evicted. Okay, do we have the money to move someplace else? Do we have the resources to downsize and move someplace else? Can I afford to get into another place? And if not, then are there resources in my county, my city, my state that can assist me? Am I a veteran? Can I go to Veteran Affairs? Is there a housing authority that they can assist me? Do Do I have family or friends that may let me and the kids squat at their house for a while? Do I have church members that may help me out, or a church that will help me out? Start looking at ways that you can be assisted before the worst happens, just in case. Do I have a 401k that I can pull the money out of to help keep me afloat while all this is going on? Just some things that I'm throwing out there that might be able to help you, jumpstart you to start thinking about a small solution to a big problem, but it may help assist you and take some of the weight and the burden off of you right now till you can get to the next level. If it's the children, okay, I'm feeling like I have no clue. I haven't been to school in 15, 20 years. What is this? Okay, well, you don't have to teach your children. That's what the teachers are there for. You just have to make sure that they are sitting there in front of the computer doing what they need to do. And we can be stressed about everybody being home, or we could look at this and say, you know what? Normally I'm working all the time. I don't get to spend time with my wife or my husband or my children or my girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever the case may be. I'm going to use this time for us to do some family bonding. And with the holidays coming up, it's a great time to do stuff that may be economical for you. And this may not fit everybody, but it may fit some. Where you make cookies for the holidays. Do the things that you might have been taught as a little girl. Or if you wasn't, do some YouTube channels and look and find some inexpensive, cheap ways that you can do crafts, arts and crafts, walks. The leaves are changing. Just things that you can do, spending time with your family. That's family bonding. You finding out where your children are mentally, emotionally, physically. And I guarantee, the funny thing is, you may look back on 2020 and think, oh my gosh, that was the worst year. But if you spend time with your children, they're going to look back on 2020 thinking, you know what, it wasn't so bad, because even though things were rough, I was with my family, I was with my mom, I was with my dad, I was with my grandma. We got to spend a lot of time together. We need to feel safe and secure in any situation. And taking that time to take a deep breath and kind of gathering your thoughts gives you I like to think of it as a security blanket in a sense. Because once you feel like, there is somewhere I can go with this, there's some way that I can get help, there's some solution on the horizon, you start to feel better, you start to feel safe and secure again. And our self-esteem can be affected by this, because you'll start beating yourself up. If I had just gotten another job, or why can't I get a job, or if I had more skills, or if I had done this, if I hadn't spent the money like I did, and the what if and could have and should have, all those things will come up. But you know what? You need to just push them down and say, it is what it is, and I have to deal with today. Is that easy? No. Our self-talk is horrible. We don't lift ourselves up for anything. And I want to end this by saying, I've started doing something where when I get up, I give gratitude for like 10 things. I forgive myself for 5 things, and I commit myself to 5 things. And I do that because we can sometimes be in a season when things are so hard that we forget that there are things that we can be grateful for. No matter how little you have, there's always somebody else that has less, and they wish that you had what you had. It was funny, I was getting in my car and I was like, oh, the whole thing with the hair, it is just, me and this hair thing. And I was like, you know what? Here you are fussing about hair, and if that's your biggest complaint today, you are blessed. And there is some woman who has lost her hair because of cancer, or maybe they were never able to grow their hair because of, a disease they may have in their body, or their hair is thinning, that they have to wear a wig. They would be happy to have the hair that you have. So I had to regroup and get myself together. Sometimes we just have to be grateful for what it is. Even if, say you're not in your house and the only place you and your family could go was a shelter, you can be grateful that you and your family are together and you have some place to be right now. It's not the place you want to be. It's not the best place that you would feel like you can say that you've ever had, but you're not on the street. You see what I'm saying? Even people on the street, if you got a tent and the other person don't, you can be grateful for that. The forgiveness. We carry a lot of guilt around about the things we've done in our lives and how we've reacted to things and, just a whole lot. You have to learn to forgive yourself, because the funny thing about forgiveness, once you learn to forgive yourself, it makes it easier to forgive others, because you realize that they're not perfect. We all make mistakes. We've all done things we shouldn't do. We've hurt other people. The list goes on and on. And so once you learn to forgive you can learn to say, you know what? That person may not have not meant to do what they did, or where they're at right now, they're hurting, and so they're hurting other people. Forgiveness is a big one. And you might want to go back to the earliest memory that you have of things that you've done. It's funny how you can walk around and feel guilty about the candy that you stole from the store when you were 7, and you feel shame because you never told anybody. Just forgive yourself for it. Or the fact that you got angry when you found out the electric bill was $200 and some, and in your budget you only got enough for $50, and you're yelling at the kids because they got the TV on, the iPad going, the computer games, and all this other stuff. Forgive yourself for the yelling, because no, it wasn't their fault, but right then you were stressed and you got a lot of pressure on you. Forgive yourself. Next would be commitment. No matter where you're at in life, you can learn to commit to yourself. And I mean that by saying, okay, what are 5 things that you can commit to doing? And it can be as simple as, today I commit to cooking dinner. Today I commit to making sure the kids are doing what they need to do. Today I commit to doing a little exercise to make me feel better. Today I commit to doing my job at 100%. Today I commit to sitting down and making a budget because money is tight, and see how we can cut back. It can be any and everything. Today I commit to learning how to re-love my spouse or myself. It's awesome because it starts making you look at where you're at, what you want to do. These are, really 3 great steps. And if you don't do it every day, okay, so you forgive yourself because you miss some days. You go, and then you can throw it into your commitment list. I commit to trying to do this again every day. Guys, I love you much. For those who are watching the channel, please pass it on, hit subscribe, put in there the comments. I want you guys to be the best you that you can possibly be. I don't believe any of us was created that did not have a purpose and a plan to be here, because if you think about it, life itself is awesome, and there's a lot of babies that didn't make it to being where we're at. There's a lot of people who didn't make it. So if you're still here, you're still breathing and walking, you still have the ability to make a change in your life and become the best you that you want to be. Nothing lasts forever. If you don't like your job, get a new one. If you don't like your boyfriend or girlfriend, you can end that too. We can change. By change, we can make new choices to make our life different from where it was and eliminate the things that are not positive for us. Have an awesome Monday tomorrow, and I love you guys. And again, thank you for stopping by. Defining Deborah. Mwah. Bye.